Perfect. Hi everyone, great to see you all again. Before I get started, I would just like to acknowledge the country on which I am on this afternoon. I am in Carlton in Melbourne, and the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation are the traditional owners of the land, and I would like to pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. So with this presentation, I'm going to give a quick overview about who Teach for Australia are, why we exist, and then I'm going to go into our selection process, what we look for, and then I've got a couple of tips and hints, and I will finish hopefully nice and early to have some questions from you all. But essentially, Teach for Australia, we're a not-for-profit organisation, and we are part of a global network that is called the Teach for All Network. We have over 52 countries around the world that participate in this, and we are all dedicated to developing leadership in classrooms and communities to ensure that all children achieve their potential. For Teach for Australia, this is our 12th year of placing associates into low socioeconomic schools around Australia. We were founded in 2009, and we are currently in the process and have applications open for our 13th cohort, which is the 2022 cohort. Our vision is an Australia where education gives every child, regardless of their background, a greater choice for their future. And in order to achieve that, we have a mission to grow a community of leaders that are committed to equity for children by recruiting and developing exceptional people to teach and lead across Australia. In order for us to achieve this vision and mission, we need great teachers and leaders in the classrooms around the country. We need leaders working across all systems across Australia to bring about this change. And one way that we do that is our flagship graduate program, the Leadership Development Program. So we believe in order to create this change in any of these sectors on the screen in front of you, you need to have seen and experienced firsthand the challenges our communities face. And at the completion of the program, we ask our alumni to have a lifetime of action towards advocating or addressing educational inequity in anything that they do. We have associates who finish the program and then go on to work for other not-for-profits. We have them working in government and within education, within the Department of Education. We have them working for other corporate partners around the country. And then we also believe that educational inequity does not stop at high school, so we also need those people within higher education creating alternative pathways for people into the classroom as well, and into any career that they have the choice of pursuing. So just a bit of an overview of the Leadership Development Program. So over 2 years, so we call successful candidates from the program our associates. So our associates go into one of our schools in a low socioeconomic community with full salary and benefits, and they complete a Masters of Teaching in Secondary Leading and Learning with our university partner ACU, and that Masters is on an assisted scholarship. Due to the nature of the program, and if you're working full-time, studying full-time, it is an intense 2 years. The workload is really, really challenging, but also rewarding. And to counteract that, we have 3 mentors that our associates receive for the duration of the program. So one of those is an academic mentor. So that is someone from ACU University that is designed to be your support network for anything masters related. We have an in-school mentor, so normally someone within your school, whether they could be a fellow teacher or a teacher within a leadership position, they're there to act as a mentor for you to help with the day-to-day context of your school life. And then you also have what we call a teaching and leadership advisor, and they are an employer of Teach for Australia. We have them spread across the country, and they actually come and observe you in the classroom and give you feedback and coaching around your classroom management, classroom leadership, and also to check in mentally and emotionally is really important as well. But I think the main thing is that the skills and the experience that our associates achieve over the 2 years is absolutely fundamental, and it gives them the opportunity to essentially make a tangible and positive impact on our students, schools and communities for the 2 years and beyond. Just to give you an idea of the impact that we have had to date. So since 2009, I think the biggest number on this screen is obviously we've impacted over 350,000 students around Australia. But one thing I really want to highlight is the amount of placement. So we've placed 1,120 associates in our classroom since 2009. And what this really highlights for me is the alumni community that you will have access to if you decide to apply and are successful in this program. So the support network outside of those three mentors that I just mentioned is the alumni community, and the associates that you will be teaching alongside is absolutely incredible, and one of the things that sets this program aside from other pathways into the classroom. And I just wanted to mention, as we've got over 229 partner schools around all of our states and territories that we've been placing our associates in since the beginning, and we are always bringing on new partner schools each year as well, which is really exciting. I love placement statistics, and we get a lot of questions on the recruitment team about where we place and when we place and how many people are successful. So this is a snapshot of our 2022 cohort. So those who started in the classroom this year, where they are in their 3 months into their journey over the 2 years. And what I'll say is that this program gives you the ability to explore something new. So whether that's a new challenge, a new community, or a new part of the country, if that's something that's exciting to you, this is absolutely the program for you, and you're also making an impact where it's needed. So we placed 164 associates around the country this year. Next year we are being very ambitious, and we have a goal to be able to place 250 people around the country. And just over on the right hand side, I'll just draw your attention to, first of all, the statistics of where we place in terms of metropolitan, regional and remote. There was a question in the chat in the earlier panel. The majority of our demand in all of our states and territories does come from regional communities. This is where the biggest need is from our partner schools, and the biggest need for teachers are out in these communities. I had the pleasure last week, myself and my other Victorian recruiter, we went on a bit of a regional tour. We went to Ballarat and Bendigo and Warrnambool and Kyneton and one other place as well. We went everywhere, and we had the opportunity to go into 2 different schools and watch some of our associates teach. We watched a Year 10 science lesson and a Year 8 maths lesson, and it was so excellent to be out in the regional communities. It's a wonderful feeling, and you're only a few hours from Melbourne, so really great to get out there. So if you're thinking about a relocation or wanting to work somewhere else, then this may be the program for you, and I'd love to chat further about it. In terms of what we are looking for throughout our selection process, so at Teach Australia, we're not looking for ready-made teachers or leaders, and we're not looking for any particular kind of experience. We look for a diversity of experiences and backgrounds, and we need diverse experience and backgrounds because our schools are diverse. So we need all different people in all of the communities that we come across. We look for these, we call these our 8 competencies, or our 4 skills and our 4 mindsets. And the reason that we assess against these so consistently across the selection process is because we know that they set you up with the potential to be an impactful leader in the classroom and beyond. And that was really demonstrated to me last week. We had the opportunity to meet with a principal in one of our schools, and she was telling us about one of the associates who's in his 2nd year, and everything that she was mentioning about how he was doing really well and he was getting quite involved within the school community. She mentioned about 5 of these competencies without even being asked if they were kind of aligning to it. So not only do they carry you through the selection process, they help you succeed across the 2 years. So they're really fundamental to your success on the program and beyond. And we look for examples of how you've demonstrated these in your recent experiences. So that can either be professional or academic or volunteering. And one thing that we see from our grads in particular is that you may not have the professional experience up your sleeve yet, which is so fine. You've got academic, you've got volunteering. There's plenty of opportunities for you to be able to demonstrate these consistently. In regards to our selection process, so it is quite a quick turnaround, and it's a very human-driven process. So the selection process starts with the online application. It gives you the ability to tell us why. So why Teach for Australia, why this pathway into the classroom. The online application is very focused around that commitment to vision and mission competency. If you're successful, you will go through to a virtual interview, which is held via Zoom, so exactly what we're doing now, and it gives you the opportunity to communicate in a verbal sense compared to that written sense. So you'll have the opportunity to chat to one of our admissions assessors and build rapport that way. And then from there, you will be invited to a selection day, which is like an assessment centre. So there's a series of activities that our candidates go through. They do a group activity. There's a sample teaching lesson, which is really fun as someone who has assessed them and played a couple of students. But the whole process takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get through from when you submit your application. And the one thing I'll note is that on the online application, again, there was a couple of comments with the panel. If your university, your WAM or your marks are not where you wanted them to be, that is absolutely fine. Our online applications are read by a person. There is supplementary space there for you to tell us anything that you would like us to know about, anything that's going to impact your online application, as well as tell us about any additional support that you might need. So we absolutely have candidates who apply who may have a learning disability or need extra support at that interview or that selection day stage. There is space at the online application for you to tell us that. And also we have a team of 6 recruitment managers around the country, myself included, who are ready and waiting to kind of help and support you through this journey. Within my role, we are a part of every single stage here. We do the interviews, we help with the selection days, and then we help with placing you at the end of the year for the program. So there's a lot of touch points available for you. In just a couple of tips, because I know when I do these for some other graduates at some of my universities, they love a good application tip. So I had a chat with Ziska. So Ziska works in our admissions team. She is across all of our online applications that come through. Very, very busy lady. And she's pulled together a couple of tips and hints there. And some of these may seem very simple, but some of the common and most biggest mistakes that we see. But essentially, probably, if I was going to summarize, I'd probably be going straight to section number 3. And the online application questions are structured in a way for you to tell our admissions assessors exactly what we're looking for that line up with the competencies. And one thing that we find is people do tend to either misread the question or not answer the question by telling us more and more about what we haven't asked for, if that makes sense. So it's really important at the online application stage and any role that you're applying for is to make sure you're answering what is being asked, because there will be more opportunities for you to tell us more and more about yourself as you go through. The other thing as well, number 4, it's very obvious to us when people have just copied and pasted from the website. We're really looking for you to show us and demonstrate to us your understanding of who Teach for Australia are and what our vision and mission is from on the online application form as well. Yeah. And just quickly before I wrap up, if you do have any, if you'd like to chat to a recruiter, so if you're all based where everyone's based, this expression of interest form where you can scan the QR code, you are able to do this, which will take you to the expression of interest form, and from there you will hear from one of our recruitment and advocacy managers around the country to book in a one-on-one call with you and chat through any other questions or eligibility questions that you may have. But I will stop sharing, so I've got a couple of minutes left for some questions. Just gonna have a look at the panel for me. You're also welcome. I can maybe come off mute and ask any questions. Natalia, I think you have just asked a question. So unfortunately, to be eligible for the program, you do need to have permanent residency or citizenship to be able to apply. And you must have that at the time of applying. In saying that, I've absolutely had candidates who are in the process of getting this, and they really are invested in Teach for Australia, and we just keep in communication, and they come back to me once they've got that achieved, and then they can go through and apply. That is all good. please, yeah, feel free to pop any other questions that you may have in the chat. I've got about 3 minutes left before Sam will retake control.
Well, maybe Sarah, while waiting for questions to come through,
Yep.
we'll get you to even review some of the ones that had previously been asked when we were on the panel earlier.
Yeah, so I can see those two there.
Yeah, so there's a great one about, well, actually, I don't think I actually gave you the time to answer the question about what support you offer for students with a disadvantage, or whether they're from culturally different groups. Do you maybe want to clarify that for students
definitely.
here?
Yeah, our admissions process, I think it's a the selection process is blind in the fact that your online application, if you're successful, if you go through to the interviewers are not looking at your online application. It's done blind. It's very so our selection process is blind in the sense that we have support available for any support that you need. Basically, if the spot on the online application form is there in a confidential sense, it only goes to our admissions manager. We have had people attend selection days who need additional breaks or need additional time to read through the materials. So it's absolutely fine. We welcome all different levels of support that you need, and we've got a team available on hand to help with that as well.
Awesome. There's a question earlier from Rich, asking in regards to how much weight do you put on the like professional work experience in the application process? Does that help at all? Is it essential?
It helps if it relates to the competencies. If that, yes and no. Like if you've got professional work experience, when you go into the classroom, the more that you've got, the more it's going to help in terms of navigating your way through the workload. But essentially, the 8 competencies that we assess against, if your professional experience allows you to answer the question that aligns with that competency, then it's going to absolutely help. And we run application workshops quite regularly before all of our deadlines, and really go into those competencies to help all of our candidates understand what it is we're looking for.
Fantastic. Final question, and then we'll be thrown up to the next speaker. So it's just a question. All roles are for students to work in a teaching position. Is that right, Sarah?
Well, they study the Masters of Teaching, so we unfortunately can't take already qualified teachers. If you've already got that teaching qualification, it would make you ineligible. So our candidates study at the same time and come out the other end with the teaching qualification.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today, Sarah, for both the panel and for your time answering questions and this presentation here.
Sorry about the microphone.
No, that's all good. The joy of virtual, right?